Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in this video we might be working on a Audi S4 where you've seen 5 million times, or we might be working on a 3-litre TDI 2RX where you've seen a few times, or option number 3, we have something more interesting here. We can be working on this Audi R8 V10. So this car was delivered to us with his owner when the car actually broke down on the motorway, and it was recovered to MRC again. And after they done the diagnostic, they did find out there's an issue with one of the knock sensors. So shortly afterwards he contacted us, and obviously he dropped the car down to us. So we will be fitting in this video 2 knock sensors for cylinders 5 to 10. So I didn't ask him, and he also didn't mention it's a spider, so basically the access will be a bit of an issue, but yeah, we will get it sorted. So let's have a look at the car actually, and let's get to the job. Right guys, so you can tell from the back there's no access, so we will have to take the roof down a bit, at least like halfway, so the cover open like this, and there's our engine hidden down there. So before we do anything, I would like to put these protectors on so we ain't gonna damage the paint job or anything. As you can tell, the convertible has some pluses as well. The main cover for the roof becomes a lovely table, and yeah, we have to remove all these Torx bolts. There's like 40 of them. Once they all remove, we can just lift the cover up, and there's our engine. We have some working space finally. Okay, so once we have a bit of a working space, you have to remove the engine loom, which is going around the air intake. We also have to remove all the breather pipes from the PCV, those 2 flexi pipes which are between the airbox and the throttle bodies. We have to remove both throttle bodies left and right to actually get the intake manifold out once it's released. There's few connectors going to the throttle bodies themselves and few solenoids from the back of the intake manifold. Once you have the throttle bodies actually out, there are another 2 vacuum pipes going from underneath into the intake manifold, which are secured with Juby clips. So you will have to put a set of pliers down there to actually remove this hose, and from underneath there are another 2 for left and right. Once everything is removed and we make sure there's nothing in the way and everything is disconnected, we can finally start taking the bolts out from the intake manifold. There are 2 on the left, 2 on the right, and another 8 in the middle. The access is not the best, as you can see. I'm just getting in and out from left and right, and to be completely honest, yeah, I have a bit of a back pain, and this is how I looked on the end of the day after a very hard shift on an Audi R8. So the outer bolts not a problem. The bigger problem are the one in the middle, because we still have some loom and some vacuum pipes covering the bolts, and the angle is not the best as well. So once everything is off, we can finally remove the inlet manifold, and this is what we actually find when we're gonna remove it. So I did find this O-ring seal, sort of, and I think it actually fell out from the inlet manifold. It was just lying over there, so it's actually holding the tube with the bolt in place. But it's not the best design, I must say, because this is the same design like the rocker cover gaskets are done, but you have much better access to actually fit the rocker covers, and the bolt and the tube is one part, so as soon as you're going to try to push it in, it will push out the tube, and this O-ring, the rubber O-ring, will fall out. So I'm just going to put it back on now. Gotta be super careful when I will be fitting the manifold back into the car, because as soon as I will catch something, it might fall off, and it just might fall down into the engine somewhere, and it might damage the internals, so that definitely wouldn't be good. Let's have a look at the V10 without the manifold. So typical Audi concept, we have these running flaps with the injectors and the rail underneath, and we have 4 knock sensors, 2 on the left, 2 on the right, so we will be replacing the one on the passenger side. So this is what we removed so far. It's actually not that bad, and we can continue with the runner flaps along with the rail and the injectors. That gotta be removed. Once that's out of the way, we finally have a bit of more space to actually check where's the wiring from the knock sensors coming from. Again, it's absolutely underneath everything: vacuum pipes, solenoids, more loom. So once everything out of the way, I was able to remove these 2 knock sensors. As you can tell, there is a bracket right over there what was in the way as well, and on the left hand there's a bracket where the 2 sensors were actually installed. And yeah, the wiring was going underneath there, underneath over there, and there's our spot for 1 and the 2nd knock sensor. So this is how the connector actually looks like for one of the knock sensors, and I personally think that was the issue. You can see there's a corrosion on the engine loom as well, so we have to definitely open up these connectors and clean it up, so there's no problem with the connection between the loom and the sensor. Once all that's sorted, we can finally put it back together. Very familiar design, as you can tell. Audi, yeah, same running flaps of the 3 liter or 4.2. So the runner flaps with the injectors and the rail is back on. I connect the fuel system, all the vacuum, solenoids, whatever needs to be connected, looking good. So next up what I have to do is put the bracket back on. I already plugged the connectors into the place, but this bracket still needs 2 bolts. That will be next thing what needs sorting. And yeah, this is my working space. So there's a cover for the roof in the way, this devil's horn, and this is much a space what I can get into, so not the best. Right, 2 bolts are back into place. That's like 30 minutes later, because again the access is terrible. I wasn't able to put the electric ratchet in there. So there's our manifold. All the rubber o-ring seals are in place. We are ready to install them. So you have to put the back of the manifold in the car first because of the sway bar which is coming across the engine. And you gotta be super careful not to actually broke those fragile plastic pipes from the PCV. Once you're gonna make sure the manifold is sitting properly on the runner flaps, we can start tightening the bolts down in the proper sequence. So once the manifold is back in place, I put the throttle bodies back on along with the pipes and all the vacuum from underneath and to the throttle bodies. This is the loom what I was mentioning on the beginning, which was in the way. So we have a camshaft sensor down there, the runner flap position sensor, and there's also a connector for the high pressure fuel pump. All that needs to be removed because you can't take the bolts out. PCV connected, and I think we are ready to start the engine up. Okay, so we left the engine running for a while. Afterwards we checked the engine ECU. There were no fault codes, so that's a good sign. Looks like the engine is running fine. After we've done the checks, we can put all the components back together, and once the engine compartment is actually finished, we can put the large cover back on and close the roof down, and we can put the car on the run for inspection. Okay, so this is the only run where the car will actually fit, and we're just gonna do a quick inspection underneath, take the covers off, and this is what we found. Okay, so we removed the 5 million bolts from all the covers which are covering the engine from underneath. Yeah, reason why it's done this way, because the car actually had a flat floor for the aerodynamics, so the car sticking to the road better in the higher speeds. And yeah, it is a 10-year-old car, so don't expect there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, the car's fine. We did find a few issues like the rusty pipe and a small drip of oil, but nothing major. So after we've done the check for the owner, we can put the covers back on. Right guys, so that is the R8 done. The customer actually took the car just today, and yeah, everything was cool. We replaced the 2 sensors. You see the connectors as well, they were corroded, so we actually cleaned them up, so there were no further issues. All good, the car left. I actually do like the R8, especially the new ones, and yeah, this one particular what we were working on this video was quite low mileage. It was just over 30,000 on the clock. I think this was the second owner. The car was actually remap as well, stage 2 engine and gearbox. The car was lowered with some aftermarket wheels, so it looks very decent. However, the car will go up for sale. I think it's actually sold already, so all the best to the new owner. And yeah, if you're planning to actually purchase an R8, definitely have some spare money for the maintenance, because labor-wise, as you can see, the access is not the best and the parts are just quite expensive. You have the R80 tax on top. So yeah, as you can see, I'm still in the office. It's actually just midnight at the moment, and I still have a few things what I actually want to start editing. So we have a few more videos coming on YouTube quite soon. We have the RS6 C5 video, we have the RS5 V8 coming up, and we also have a Audi TT which is in progress of engine rebuild. So all that is coming very soon on YouTube. Unfortunately, it takes time. It's just me and Miroslav. Miroslav actually just left like a couple of minutes ago. He was working on one of the customers' S4. If you're watching us on Instagram, you probably know what's going on daily, because I'm not able to film absolutely everything, and I know some of you are furious that sometimes there's not a footage how the bolt is tied down, how the connector was cleaned up, and how the small bits are done. But unfortunately, even during the day, during the filming, I have many phone calls, even from you guys from YouTube, asking me for a bit of advice over the phone, which I'm more than happy to help you if I have time. We have inquiries going through the emails, and probably you can tell we start selling the hoodies as well. If you want to support our YouTube channel, you can hit the subscribe button, yeah, which some of you or quite loads of you already did. We have, I think, just over 14,000 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. I even didn't thought it will go that high that quick. Yeah, so thank you for all your support. We will do our best to actually show you more of our own cars very soon, and we have some interesting projects hidden in the background in the car park which we want to start working on and actually show you the progress of our own cars. So there will be some more interesting things, tuning, some body kits and stuff as well. But yeah, that's future. Anyways, thank you for watching for now, and I still got some editing to do, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.